So we finished off Akane's story for now, and we are heading on over to MEM-Cho, where we see that her dream has always been to become an idol. She had admired I and B Komachi, and now here is Aqua, who is just handing her out her dream job on a silver plate, right? He's over here like, hey, we've got a new B Komachi at our company. You want to freaking come and join? Which also, consider that MEM-Cho has a buzz behind her YouTube channel. It could give a little bit more buzz to B Komachi if she decides to join this group and more people get attention to it, right? It's the whole thing of what Pion had said, which is one of the big crux of YouTube is to collaborate with bigger channels and get essentially it's the trickle down effect. Where the fans from the bigger channel would come and check out the smaller channel and see how it works. We'll just have to see. I am excited to see more Ruby, consider that we've been more focused on Aqua and his little revenge mission instead of Ruby's own little mission to fulfill to fill in her mother's footsteps, right? To become her mother, essentially. But if you guys enjoyed the content, remember to leave a like and subscribe if you haven't. And if you didn't like the content, dislike the video and we'll be on our way. Let's get started. Well, yeah, he's got another one. It's fucking great. He really just has a shirt that says Aqua. Damn, girl, almost 400. I'll be honest, that's not a lot on TikTok, but yes, it is still popular. Yeah, what you got? Oh, they've been dealing with the internet for a while, so uh-oh, we're not. She's pointing up 4 or 5. What's my agent do this spring? That's MEM-Cho. Of course, but you're. Her mom got sick because she's working herself. What, you got a Chinese bar? What the fuck? Life has gone by. Yeah, that's... Parentheses, LOL. Ah. Oh, here comes Ruby. Of course you have. I just over here empathize. I just sympathize a little bit. Oh. It's all about the heart. Oh. It's all about the heart, all about the passion. And that's what. Sick, sick, sick.
B 小町は正式なスタートを迎えるのでした。はあ、今がち終わってもうたな。
Oh, there's Yamada again.
どういう気持ちなん？どういう気持ちって、超複雑以外の感情を想像して。テレビで兄弟もののキスシーン流れた時の5倍くらい気まずかった。
On the what? On the sub what? What? Because he kissed her?
でもアクアの茜に対する気持ちってきっと
Or surely because of I, yeah. Oh, it's Frill. Fucking lizard lady. Who? No one hates good looking. Yeah, except for the uggles, am I right? Damn, dude. Damn, dude.
私が男子サイドで出てたら絶対押し倒してた。もっと気合い入れて落とせって思ったよね。アクア兄さん、普通科の方ではかなりモテてるみたい。
Of course he is. Oh, even the performing arts girl. Ah.
できれば早めに PV とかあげたいけど。
Y'all got music?
楽曲周りって楽曲できるまでは何にもできないでしょ。のんびり構いましょう。そうはいかないよ。私たちは B 小町なの忘れた？ B 小町には B 小町の曲があるでしょ。あ、そっか。昔の曲をそう。MEM-Cho天才。
I'll be 30-ish before I know it. Holy shit, dude. These fucking DVD cases. Poor Kana. Baking soda. Oh, it's because of Aqua. You got forced into it. Oh? Oh, there's the reason. He came right here. Supposed to be mad. Yeah, I'm supposed to be mad at you right now. Why? Yeah, well, she fucking feels hurt too, so what the fuck's your problem? Oh, shit! Man's vanished. Oh, the sushi date. Of course, that's why you never meet your heroes. You shouldn't. Didn't try to become friendly with those around her. By a certain theater company. La la la. Oh. Uh-oh. It's more connections to Akane. Say that love change has been there. With someone in the company? Taking more care with her appearance. Oh. Of course. It benefits him as well. Oh. Mm-hmm. Promising target for investment. Alright. Oh, next month! Hey, yo, this outfit that Kana's wearing right now. It's experience! It's experience! Yes! That's a lot of expectation, Ruby! That's... It's a 2-on-1 now, Kana. It's a 2-on-1 now. It's unfortunate, but outfits? Or oh, who will be in the center? Of course, that is an important thing in idol. Yes. Yes. Alright, let's put Kana in the middle. The both of them want it, which means that Kana should get it. Oh my god! Ah! If all you guys can't fucking sing, then how the fuck is this gonna... Yes. How would you know, Kana? That was from the past, Kana. Oh, Kana. No! No, guys, this is the gap. We should make her the center because of this. Ah, it's because of Aqua. Kiss the girl. How fucking dare he? That asshole. Well, that's why it has to be Aqua, huh? It would just go right over his head. Ah, Rui just realized. Oh god, he's just pushing his types onto me. Oh god, both of them are just not good at singing. Maybe you guys should consider taking vocal lessons? Look, I'm not the best of singer either. I'm still levels ahead of you. I like it. Wow. Sure, fucking let's go. We're just watching her music video now. Hey yo, this fucker's been lying to us this whole time. Grab her and get her in the center. Oh, this sounds like a Vocaloid song. When was this? When the fuck did she record this? Well, I thought it was a rainbow, but that's just a cloud with a different gradient on it. I mean, I would assume it's like the sun shining on it. Wow. Wow, what a shot. Of course. Oh, look at her scoring a 97 points on the other side of the karaoke room. But of course, I was gonna say Komachi. Kana has always been, especially after her wake-up call, right, knowing that she's not worth it anymore. She took that to heart and just knows that, hey, if I can't, well, first of all, as she says, like, she's got experience in failing before. All these people, these companies that, like, put trust in her back when she was a child, and then they lost money because of her. And then her saying that I've got no dependable fans, which is just ouch. Big ouchies. But also, like, I've never really, in terms of, like, child actors, right? I don't really follow them. I'm also a person who don't follow actors in general. You know, the most that I would follow are musicians. But even if they're, like, kid musicians, I don't really follow them as much until like they grow older and they've got like their own identity, because like that's how I tend to feel about with kids in the entertainment industry, where it just really feels like I feel like you're not really putting out your actual identity yet. You're just putting out whatever the adults are telling you or whatever you've got from your mom or from your family. I feel like I don't really get interested in those like whole like kid aspect stuff until they grow up, and I'm really only putting very specific musicians that's in my head right now, right? Which is the first one is Rebecca Black. I know. But you know, if you're still living in the past and you're like, oh, Rebecca Black, she's the girl who made that fucking Friday song. You know, if you're still living in that point, it's just like, maybe you should take the time to get yourself out of that rock if you're still thinking that, because she does make really nice songs now, which I very much enjoy. And the second one is Grayson Chance, and if you're still also stuck in the past with Grayson Chance, he was the kid who got popular off of making a cover of Lady Gaga. I think it was Paparazzi. It was that cover that got him famous, and then Ellen DeGeneres came and took him. Why do I know history? What? You know, I can also rephrase Rebecca Black's history too if I need to, but yeah. So like those two I remember as a kid, because they're literally the same age as me now, but I remember about them, but then I never really followed them until they became an adult and they started actually branching out and started becoming their true self. And apparently their true self for the both of them is that they're fucking gay. So look, I picked my options correctly. My child self didn't know it, but my gaydar was fucking working. But alright, I'm gonna go write some notes and we will be right back to the center. God, I fucking hate that line in this what is this magazine? Or whatever, or poster, internet ad poster or whatever, right? The fact that it says fresh and 15, it's just like, alright, look, I know Japan's got a fucking problem with like with like high schoolers and all that, but like, stop. I don't get this one. Fresh even with long hair? What is that? What does that mean? Okay, we've got this point from Mem where she says that she's finally in a position to pursue her dream, but she was no longer at the age, which is like past 20, right? And she said that she started this whole thing with her YouTube channel, right? With the path closed, I channeled my passion into streaming. I was still on temporary leave from high school, so I positioned myself as a high school girl, parentheses, LOL. And what do you mean you were still on leave for high school? You're 23 and then you did this for 2 years and now you're 25. How is what? How did that work? Right? I'm like, you were still on temporary leave from high school? And when she said that, I was just like, oh, 18. But then she's just like, she was out of the age range, which means she had to be more than 20 years, right? And she said, I kept that up for another 2 years, and now here she is, 25. So she did this when she was at 23, and she was still in temporary leave for high school? That's a long time. Like, you think that high school would just be like, yeah, this fucking girl's dropping out. What? There's something very funny about Mem having her sad time right now, and then we've got Miyako just watching her, and then there's Aqua, you know, standing here with his Aqua shirt, like a little egotistical, don't you think? He really just has a shirt that says Aqua and it's a fish. Maybe it's well, actually, no, I was gonna say maybe it's talking about the star signs, but that would be Pisces, so. Okay, I've completely forgotten her name, because, I mean, we haven't seen her in a while, but I just recognized the VA, so, like, that's why I said Yamada, because she also voices Yamada from Bokuyama. I mean, I could also say, oh, hey, it's Liney. But she goes and she asks, how you feeling having your big bro kiss on the show? Which is just like, I mean, I guess, like, you have to look at, I mean, if you're watching the show, you have to watch your brother kiss someone. Can you imagine anything besides super mixed feelings? And then she says it was 5 times as awkward as when that kiss scene on that Siblings TV series aired, and I don't understand Siblings TV series. What is that like? I'm like, okay, did the siblings kiss each other, or like did the sibling kiss other people, and then that's awkward? I don't know. I don't. I know someone in the cast. It was and what? Okay. When she said, I know someone in the cast, I thought, I was just like, who? And then I remembered it's Aqua. I don't know, maybe it's someone else, right? But right now, the only connection that we know that Frill has is to Aqua, but... And then Ruby is also saying, like, you don't need to be so considerate, right? Like, oh, so you know Aqua, but you didn't have to watch it. God, Frill really just comes in saying this with a fucking straight face, dude. Feast for the eyes, all these hot people. Dude, Frill really came in and just laid down the law. God, I will say, I do enjoy these sort of characters where they're, like, very straight-faced, but, like, their thoughts just don't match what, like, their faces at all. It's very fun. Man, no one hates good-looking people. Damn, dude. And she even makes jokes, right? And they're like, whoa! She's funny, I can't fucking believe it. And then she really fucking goes all in on MEM-Cho, where she says, personally, I enjoyed seeing MEM-Cho acting like a maiden. Had I been one of the male cast members, I totally would have pinned her down. Like, what? Frill! I was thinking, fire yourself up and win over that girl. Damn, dude, Frill's really out here. Like, if I was one of the male cast members, if they had casted me as one of the males, I would have just come right on over to MEM-Cho. Like, damn, Frill. This is the sort of energy that I need right now. Hell yeah, dog. Hell yeah. I can't read what it says, but this is like the modern YouTube page right now, which I'm very amazed that they've decided that this is what they're going to do, because like I would assume when Oshi no Ko first came out, I mean, YouTube didn't look like this. I would assume when Oshi no Ko first came out, if it even came out in like maybe something like 2020 or something, right? YouTube has had major UI changes to their website, so it's really nice to see that you've got it's very accurate down to like the fact that there's the recent upload and then there's the most popular. There's not even the option to choose the sorting it to the oldest. And then like from all these multiple tabs, I can only assume, you know, this is the about, this is channels, and then this is community somewhere around there, and then these are like the separate tabs of like shorts and live, I would assume. Because like this is a lot more tabs than how older YouTube, like 3 years ago, actually, now that I think about it, maybe like 2019, 2020 is when... No, I think YouTube started doing these AI changes 2022 or 2021, somewhere around there. I mean, they're still doing more effects to it in 2023, but yeah, the fact that, you know, they're keeping on track and actually making this literally look like how it should be in terms of like a YouTube channel, it's very nice. I very much enjoy it, and as they've kind of been portraying social media throughout the whole entire thing, right? They've done a lot of research, and both the studio and the mangaka, right? Because you know this is all they're taking from the manga. But then, as I've mentioned, if Oshi no Ko, hold on, let me go check how. When did Oshi no Ko came out in terms of the manga? It started in 2020, yeah, so 2020 is, as I've mentioned, looks very different from, 2020 YouTube looks very different from the YouTube now, so, yeah, you know, with these more new changes, like, the studio would have to do, their little research on social media, so I think that's very nice, you know, the nice little effort that they put into, and especially if they know that if this, I mean, nowadays, I feel like anime studios should know of the effect that reaction channels have, because there are very big reaction channels out there, and the Japanese audience really gets into that too. If you ever seen like those channels where they translate people's reactions to Japanese, and like that gets a big crowd, and you could even, if you were able to deep dive into analytics of reaction channels, right, they would probably tell you that a big chunk, right? Well, not a big chunk, but there would be a chunk. It might not be as big as like a Western audience, right? Whether it's the US or the UK, somewhere around there, but that's the big audience. But there would be a chunk of just Japanese viewers, because this is something that Japanese people would enjoy too in terms of the reaction. So I would assume that, like, if they were making this and they know that this is talking about social media, and like they know it's probably not something that they'd probably put like right in their head, you know, like, oh, this is what reactors, YouTubers would think. Well, I mean, I would assume that that's why they have the... Anyways, I'm just backtracking on myself, but I would assume they kind of have that in mind. That's why they do these updates, and they do these very realistic social media pages. Because, I mean, we've seen other social media pages from other anime and mangas and such, right? And they don't really look as real as what I feel personally as Oshi no Ko right now. So, I mean... One of the easiest things you can do is, when it comes to the internet, is talk about cats. And that's sort of what Oshi no Ko did last time too, where when we were talking about how, I think it was Kana who had said it, where she was like, this is the... It was either Kana or it was either Miyako who was talking about this is the age of the internet. I think it was Miyako. And when she had mentioned that all the backgrounds of all the different social medias, your old Twitter, Instagram, whatever, they were all of cats, because cats rule the internet. Anyways, I don't know where I was going with that, but yeah. Alright, so that was episode 9 of Oshi no Ko. Let me know what you guys think about it in the comments down below. You know that I always like talking to you guys. For me, I thought that this was a pretty good episode. We've got more... Well, actually, we didn't really get... I mean, we did had Ruby there a lot more than Aqua. You know, Aqua is taking a little bit of a backseat. We've been seeing him a little bit, but in terms of like the screen time share, Ruby does have more. But we are putting more focus on the other two groups at the current moment, which is MEM and Ruby. MEM and Kana. Ruby's just kind of there right now at the current moment, but it's all right, and I do find it very fun that Ruby, despite wanting, despite, you know, she should be the person who has the center role, because I mean, if she wants to take to be in the footsteps of her mother, right, she should be at the center stage as her mother was. But it's very fun that she is very much a team player, and she would be much more willing to put the group over herself, and that, hey, if someone like Kana, who can basically do everything, right, she can dance, she can sing, what's the other thing that she can act? You know, she's got the 3 things that what Ruby and the pink hair girl was talking about with Frill, in terms of like, oh, she's got the 3 things that really makes her. So that's Kana, and Kana should be in the center, but we see that Kana is having a bit of a, not a bit, but she's having a major self-confidence issues right now, which understandable, but we'll talk about that in just a bit, because I do want to get back to the beginning with MEM-Cho and her little interview, I suppose, right? We're hearing all about her resume from Miyako. She's got almost 400,000 subscribers. She has over 600,000 on TikTok. She's with an agency right now, but she's really more of like a partner to them, and she's not really signed a contract to them or anything specifically, so she's able to work freely, which very understandable. But then the next thing that we saw was Miyako saying like, hey, it seems like you've got something to tell me, right? It's your age, isn't it? And I love that Miyako's just over here like, I can see it in your bone structures that you're not what you say you are anymore, but you do look very young, and god do I fucking feel that. God do I fucking, it's too strong. But yeah, here in this point where we find out her actual age, right? She's 25, but she tells her audience that she's 18, or at least a high school girl, right? So it's just like, wow, that's such a big fucking lie that you're telling to people, which, you know what, if you were a VTuber, so much easier to disguise. Anyways, because of this age difference, we get to hear Mem's story, where she tells everybody that she lives with a single mother and 2 younger brothers, and when it comes to these sort of family relationships, right, the older kid would be the one who ends up kind of having to take the parent role, like a part of the parent role, right, while their mom or their dad is doing other things, which is, you know, working to make money for them. So they might not be around in the house to do house chores a lot. You know, and if they do, for the most part, it really feels like the older kid should, even though they shouldn't, but they end up taking that more parental role for their kids, so then they could help out with the mom and everything. So so we can kind of see that through Mem, where she felt like because of their family situation, she wanted to get to work immediately instead of pursuing her dreams. But then her mom told her, "Hey, yo, dog, live out your life. I got this." And then we found out that Mom, in fact, did not got this, as she was close to the final rounds of the idol stuff, right? Her mom overworked herself and ended up at the hospital. And so, because of that, Mem came to the realization that, oh shit, her mom did not got this. So Mem had to pick up the slack, and she had to give up her dreams in order to support her family. And by the time that everything in her family situation became stabilized, she was already too old to become an idol, which just kind of fucking sucks. It's just that feeling again of, you know, young, especially when it comes to women, right? And what MEM-Cho had said, hey, once you turn 20, you're not fresh anymore, right? You're an oldie, and it's something that still is very much going on in our world right now, where it's like the older it's that stupid phrase that I'm just suddenly thinking now, and of course it's very misogynistic, you know, in the terms of like, oh, men age like wine while women age like milk, in how society sees them, right? The older the woman gets, the less desirable she looks to society. But it is something that's changing a lot nowadays. I really do enjoy that change, but but you know, this overall thinking is very much grasped onto a majority of society. But while she explains her whole thing, and I love that MEM-Cho was just like, oh, I just decided to pour my passion into YouTube and TikTok, and I was just joking about how I was a high school student because I was technically still on leave for 4 or 5 years, like, Jesus Christ. But yeah, she decided to put that as a joke, but then she ended up gaining a crazy number of subscribers, and she had to keep this mask on, which is very understandable. And I love it. She's just like, look, I kept that up for another 2 years, and now here we are. Here we have Ruby and Kana, who have overheard them, and Ruby, being the person that she is, she's very welcoming of others, and she's very accepting, and also very naive in terms of the entertainment industry, because she still hasn't really gone into it. Right? She's still very much in this initial stage of creating the idol group, and she hasn't gone about it doing other things like Aqua. So she's still very naive about that, and that's why Aqua got her literally recruited these two for her, right? He got Kana, who is the more level-headed of the group, right? Who's able to watch over her sister for him, and he also recruited Mem, who now we see is a person who's actually a lot older than she looks. But she knows a lot about social media and what you should and shouldn't do and all that, right? So for the most part, with these two, they'd be able to look over Ruby for Aqua, so then Aqua doesn't have to feel all tense and shit thinking about how his sister is gonna get fucked up or whatever. Right, he knows that there are these two other girls who's going to look after her. And speaking of Mem and her age, now that we know her age, it's very understandable to see the way that she acts, because throughout the whole Love Now show, she acts as this ditzy maiden girl, as Frill mentions. But off of that camera appearance, we see that she is very she worries about other people, as we've seen her talk to Aqua, and how she was like, oh, I worry for Akane. She gets along well with everybody else in the cast, and it seems like for the most part, with the way that Mem acts, I kind of felt this bit of maturity on Mem when she goes and said, like, back when they first introduced her, and she's just like, oh yeah, I'm a social media expert, and I'm just over here like, you're in high school and you're a social media expert? How how did this happen? Look, I know that there's probably some, nowadays, perhaps there's probably some high schooler who's making some really good fucking YouTube videos that aren't obnoxious and loud. Look, it's just hard for me to believe that sometimes, because, you know, a lot of kids get to that point where maybe they feel like they are on top of things and that they're doing fucking great or whatever, but they still don't know better because their brain hasn't fully aged. You know, and so knowing that Mem is now 25, right? That's the age where your brain truly finished developing for the most part. Well, I mean, not for the most part. That's like the age where your brain just is finished, right? You're finally fully formed. Your brain's finally grown up and everything. And that's when also your empathy should really fucking kick into gear. And also when everything fucking hurts. But going back to Mem again, despite her age and despite how sometimes I feel like she acts quite mature, and I mean the other kids for the most part act quite mature for their age as well. I mean minus Mem because she is 25, but the other kids, they're actually in high school. So you know, for those kids, it's understandable that they act sort of the way that they are, and because they're working in the entertainment industry and they're working with adults and all that jazz. I'm not gonna get into that because I feel like I kind of already talked about that with Kana herself. I almost forgot what point I was trying to talk about there. But despite Mem being 25 and all that, and she's literally in a group of 16-year-old, which it's like they're literally 9 years older than her. That's a whole fucking generation, almost a whole generation gap. Yeah, she's 25, and Ruby should be, actually no, Ruby is like 15, and Kana is 16 at least, right? Or 17. Ruby would be 16, right? And Kana would be Kana would be somewhere around 17 because she's second year. And then MEM-Cho said she's 18 because she's a third year, somewhere around there. Okay, it is not a generational gap, but it's almost close to one. But it's interesting that MEM-Cho is able to get along with the high schoolers a lot, other than the fact that she has been pretending to be a high schooler for 2 years, so, you know, it could just be a part of her lie phase and all that. But at the same time, despite her having to work to support her family and all that jazz, she still wanted to be an idol, and that's still part of her dream. And the thing with idols is that they're geared towards only young people in terms of the job looking, right? That the people who are watching might not be young, but because the idol stuff is still very geared towards young people, and I would assume also with the way that Mem, again, pretending that she's a high schooler and also talking with her chats and all that, who perhaps would be high schoolers and share some stories with her, you know, perhaps she would feel a little bit more easier to talk. It feels it's easier to talk with high schoolers despite not being their age, because like I know for sure, like I'm 26 now, Jesus Christ, and if I were to talk to a high schooler now, I would be like, I don't know what the fuck you guys are talking about. Dude, kids are just coming out with new fucking memes and like words like fucking Riz, and I'm just like, I don't know. I mean, I know what Riz means, but like I still don't really know where I should be putting those sometimes, you know, the whole Riz thing. I feel old when I hear new fucking words that the kids have come up these days, and I'm like, I don't know what's going on. But the one thing I do find with age is that I now get to call kids. That's the fun part of getting old. Other than everything just hurting in my bones, but you know, that's the good part. I got distracted again, but my whole point for this is that Mem is a child at heart, or she is young at heart, right? And perhaps despite her having to grow up in order to support her family, there's still parts of her that hasn't grown up. You know, that she's, again, she's keeping herself young at heart because that's what she wants to. Well, I mean, that's the whole idol life, and that's what she should be doing. She should be young, but she's not. But she's still got it, and that's what Kana ends up telling to MEM-Cho, right? That age has got nothing to do with being an idol, which, I mean, it does, but I understand where Ruby is coming from, which is why we see Aqua right after that talking about how, like, there goes my sister glossing over things again, which Aqua knows what's up, but he's just like, yeah, there's my sister. She's just very open and accepting of people, and it doesn't really matter what society is saying. She's going against the grain. So, yeah, it's very nice of Ruby. I still hope to see her in the limelight, in the highlights and everything, even if she's not the center. I just really want to see more Ruby growth at this point. So with MEM-Cho being in the group now, it is now a 2v1 in the group. Because Ruby and Mem are, according to Kana, idol otakus, which, I mean, that is true. So we've got 2 idol otaku, and then the one that kind of had to join because Aqua told her to. Because of that, the dynamic used to be a one-on-one sort of thing, right? Where Ruby wanted to do something, but then Kana's able to keep her on a leash through her years of experience, and her be able to be like, hey, maybe you shouldn't be doing that, or maybe you should be doing this, and this, and then I would assume Ruby, in her naivety, would just be like, okay, you know, that's totally cool. But now that Mem is here, and Mem also has experience, but she's also on Ruby's side for the most part, and it's just so fun where in this one particular scene where they're wondering what they should be doing next, and when they're talking about the music, and Kana's just like, well, Miyako's talking about all these other musicians that they've got, and so they just need to chill a little bit until the music comes out. And Mem is just like, wait, hold on, we're B Komachi, we can just use the old songs and practice. And Kana's just over here like doing a little I was hoping they didn't know about that, but of course Mem does, and Ruby kind of wasn't really thinking about it. And so it's that feeling of 2v1, and then it kind of goes on over to when they've got a spot at the Japan Idol Festival next month, and it was through Mem's connection, and we've got Ruby, who was just like, oh, that's great, you know, that's amazing. Wouldn't it be great for B Komachi to have their first thing at a super big stage, you know? That'd be fucking cool. That's like a comeback of B Komachi. And here is Kana, who's just kind of trying to give her the negative side of the internet, which is, hey, what if people don't really care who we are, and it could be a big bad first impressions, like, oh, these people must have connections and that's why they're here. They're a bunch of nobodies. Why the fuck are they here at the Japan Idol Fest, right? That could garner some negativity even for the other idol groups as well. You don't want that, right? You want to foster good relationships so that you can have collaborations and such. Perhaps if this was just a situation between Ruby and Kana, perhaps Kana could reel Ruby back a little bit. But again, since MEM-Cho is here, it is a 2v1. And as we've learned from Aqua, she's pretty much a bit of a pushover, right? So if you push her enough, eventually she will keel over, and that's how it kind of goes for the Japan Idol Fest, where Kana knows that this is a losing battle, especially against 2 people now, and she's just like, ugh, fine. Also, I just realized Ruby in this situation is wearing a fish shirt as well. She's wearing a similar shirt to Aqua, except it's red, because that's her color, right? I haven't seen what it says yet, though, because her... Oh yeah, it said Taiyaki, I forgot. And then Aqua just has the same shirt that says Aqua. Why? But that's pretty much all I've got on MEM-Cho's side at the current moment. As I've mentioned, I really like MEM-Cho as a character. I like all three of the B Komachi group, so it's very nice. But we're going to get to talk a little bit about Kana. Not really too much on Ruby, because as I've mentioned, she's not much of the focus in this episode. It's just been Kana and MEM-Cho. And so for Kana, we can see that she is currently being very upset. she's being very upset with Aqua right now, and God, what a fucking great scene where Aqua is asking her to take care of Ruby, and she's just like, "Can it? Don't act all friendly with me. We're not friends anymore." But then she goes into her little tsundere self, and she's like, "Well, you didn't need to ask me. I would have taken care of Ruby by myself anyways." Very, very cute. And you can see her doing that again back in, I was gonna say just in the timestamp. Yes, it is 11:02 or 11:42. This is the part where she was thinking about how, like, man, why did I agree to become an idol in the first place? Because she really didn't want to. She wanted to be more focused on her acting career and such. And so when she's thinking about that, of course, the guy who is the reason why she joined in the first place is Aqua, right? He's giving her a water bottle, you know, for the good stuff that she's been doing. And before, as she was about to accept it, right, she realizes, oh yeah, you're I was supposed to be mad at you, so I don't want it. Get it out of my sight. It's just, goddamn, dude. She's continuing to stay mad, right? Despite not really being mad at him anymore. But she's continuing to do that. And Aqua fucking goes and says, "You've been acting like this towards me all the time lately." Well, as I mentioned in the reaction, I wanted him to ask why, right? That's why I said why. I'm like, do it. The fucking ask why. Instead, he goes and says, after this spot, "I know you've got a foul mouth and attitude," which is just like, okay. But even I'll feel hurt if you keep it up. And it's, my guy, it's not about, it is about you, but it's not about you. Right? It's like, if a girl who often has an attitude and a foul mouth, but before that she would still be able to talk to you, right? Still treated you as a normal person instead of the way that she is now, which is, don't fucking talk to me. Maybe you should kind of come to the realization that there's a fucking problem, and you should ask why she's mad instead of making it about you and say, "Oh, if you keep this up, I'm gonna feel hurt." And it's like, bitch! Abby's like, you think that she's not hurting if she's angry at you for some fucking reason? Like, Aqua! Excuse me, sir! But, of course, this gets to Kana as she thinks about, like, what do you mean you're gonna feel hurt, right? I'm the one over here who's feeling hurt right now. But that makes her almost want to actually talk to him, but unfortunately, he fucking vanished like the wind. Where did he go? And then this brings us back to the talk about the Japan Idol Festival, where the next thing they needed to decide was who's going to be the center, because when it comes to being an idol, somebody has to be at the center, and that's the person who is the most popular, you know, the leader of the group, that sort of feel. And which is also why you can't have you can't have an even number. 2 people at the center? That's ridiculous. But yeah, we've got MEM-Cho and Ruby, who both wants to be at the center, because of course they do. They're both idol otakus, but they've got things that they just can't do, and they realize and sort of delegate it to Kana, because they're like, oh, if you need somebody who can do this, this, and this, well, that's Kana, right? Then Kana has to be the person at the center. But here is Kana, who is showing some major self-confidence right now, and it's very understandable with the way that she's feeling right now. And then with all the other feelings from her past, you know, like the current feeling that she has right now is bringing up all the other emotions that she has felt from the past. And I would also say it kind of surfaces just a little bit back in the beginning when MEM-Cho was talking about her past, and then And then Kana was over here like, oh, I sympathize just a little bit, right? I too was hounded about my age, so I can sympathize a bit. She's over here fucking crying. I'm just like, I don't think you're sympathizing with her. I think you're out here fucking empathizing. You're really out here fucking crying. Because she's able to put herself into MEM-Cho's shoes. So, you know, perhaps that's a little bit, a little scratch at her past. But as the other two girls were trying to suggest Kana that she should be at the center, Kana goes and says, well, if I'm at the center, our group will never be popular. And she backs it up with scientific evidence, I suppose, or just anecdotes. We love anecdotal evidence. So she brings up her past and says like, hey, I've tried this, and this. All these people who have given me a chance just because of my previous reputation as a child actor, and I've lost money for them, right? And then as she says here, I don't have any dependable fans, which is like, Jesus fucking Christ. And we know that she ego serves quite often, considering that she knows all these comments that people have made about her, right? These comments of like, oh, whatever happened to Kana's appearance? Oh, she grew up and she's not cute anymore. It's just like, shut the fuck up. You're sounding all creepy right now. But even Ruby had caught on to the situation where she said like, hey, you've been feeling a lot down on yourself lately. Like, what's going on? And it's that situation with Aqua where she feels like she's not worth it, right? And even though she knows that this is part of the whole industry shit, she knows she knows that, right? But she can't help but to be emotional about it because this is a boy that she likes, and she literally has watched him kiss someone on camera, and she has no power over that. And so that feeling of like, damn, you know, they've kissed and now they're going to be boyfriend and girlfriends now, right? That fucking sucks. I'm not his girlfriend, so I feel absolutely worthless. And then again, all that past that she has felt worthless before is it's just piling up on her current situation. And so yeah, her self-confidence is just absolutely shattered right now, despite her having talent, right? We've seen her with it, and we've seen it towards the end when Mem and Ruby finds that Kana has sung other songs before, and they've realized that she's a good singer. And then they also showed that she was at another karaoke booth, and her score was a 97 compared to Ruby's, which was like a 43 or something, or a 34, somewhere around there. So she's very talented, but she just does not have that confidence in herself, and that's why she said that she's a lousy singer. But yeah, it's just that issue of self-confidence, an issue of self-confidence, and also she just needs to make up with Aqua. That, or she just needs to give up her anger, right? Because this anger that she has, it's I've mentioned this all the way back in like High Score Girls, but the whole feeling of anger, right, it really only lasts for like, don't take this as like actual science from me anyways, just do your research first, but anger takes around like 60 seconds, somewhere around there, like a minute or 30 seconds. It's a very short amount of time when you feel this genuine anger, right? And so this anger that Kana has, she felt it genuine. She had it genuinely, right? She was actually angry, but it doesn't last in your brain forever. And anything else that happens after that, that's on you. That's your choice, right? You've decided that you're going to stay mad. And that's what Kana decides that she's going to do, except that genuine anger it's not really there anymore. So when she got caught off guard by Aqua, when he was handing her that water bottle and she was about to take it, you know, she remembered, oh yeah, I'm supposed to be angry. So she refuses the water bottle. It's just like, hey, I don't want it. Get the fuck out of here, right? So we know that she's continuing to stay angry just because she doesn't want to deal with all these other sort of emotions that she's having right now, right? She's a little bit in a bit of a emotional turmoil, and she doesn't want to feel the way that she felt when she saw him kiss Akane on on her phone screen and all that. She doesn't want to feel that feeling, so it's better to feel angry instead of sad. Angry is just and I'm saying this like I'm saying this in how like you would feel, but it's not a good thing, right? But being angry is for the most part better than being sad, because you don't want to be sad, and if you're angry, you're not sad. It's kind of that feeling. It's like, I'm gonna be upset at you, and that's the end of that. Again, I still don't like the way that Aqua made it about him, even though it is about him. But like, maybe you should have thought about Ruby instead. But that's just the way that Aqua is. So like, he's a little awkward. He stumbles through life sometimes. He catches most social signals, except for when it comes to romance. He doesn't really catch all that much. But yeah, it's just that's just the way Aqua is, and like I understand his character, so like I can't get mad at him for it, but I'm still not happy with his response. But going past all of this, we've got well, actually, this was all the way in the middle, but this is the conversation between Kaburagi and Aqua. They've got a 400,000 yen sushi date. Very expensive. Like, goddamn. Like, I would assume they rented out the entire thing too, because like there's only one chef who's just over here listening, like, hoo, hoo, hoo. Got some hot tips right here, except he's an old man, and he probably doesn't give a shit. Yeah, they're having this expensive sushi date, and so Kaburagi goes and tells Aqua about Ai, and talks a little bit about her past, how she first started, and we see how she was initially when she had first talked to Ichigo. Right, that was her manager, right, the guy who recruited her, and so this we do know that this is the way that she was, and it's interesting to see that Kaburagi said that this is how she is initially as well. I kind of thought that she did a bit of a change when she got recruited to the Strawberry Productions, but it seems like that change came from when she took a workshop at the La 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 Theater, which is the same theater group that Akane is in, which is very interesting, and it yet again puts a closer connection to a closer connection between Ai and Akane, and also gives a good reason why he should make contact with Akane, right? Because like he's essentially got an inside scoop that is Akane, but also he's having a chance to talk to the president or the director, the head of the theater group as well, from Kaburagi. As Kaburagi says, love changes people. And I enjoy that as Kaburagi says that, we get the eye shot of Aqua, who's in a black star mode right now, right? He's in his I'm a bad boy mode. But then we see like a sullen eyes, right? His low downcast eyes as he hears that, and he's just like, ah, shit. And Kaburagi, in his theory, thinks that it must have been there that she fell in love. Right, because she wanted to come back to the workshop. She started taking more care of her appearance, right? And she's asking about like where's a nice place to go to restaurants. So it's understandable that he's just like, okay, so she's probably dating somebody or whatever. and when he said, oh, she has like a face of a mature woman, I'm just over cringing about it, just because I know that she got pregnant at a young age. So I'm just like, oh my god, no. Oh shit, this face right here, right? I do remember how she suddenly had the face of a grown woman. I'm like, oh my god. But we got a little bit more information about Ai. We've got a little information of where perhaps she had met the the father, right? The guy who got her El Prego and everything. And from what we've learned from Ai's perspective was that she, not whether it's particularly because she did fall in love or she didn't. Well, I mean, she kind of kept connection with him, right? Because before I died, she had called up the father, and then the father's just like, I'm gonna send this stalker over to you. And so she still had a good relationship with him, but I would assume she thought that they ended it on good terms, and she just kind of left it at that, and she kept it a secret. Although I did initially think that, like, I thought that the dad just, that the father, you know, he just wanted her to get the fuck out of here. You know, give her an issue where she can't come back to being an idol because she has a kid and all that. But then he realizes, oh shit, she's doing better than ever about her secret, but nobody found out about her secret. And again, she's doing better than ever despite this issue that he literally gave her. Right? And so he's just like, fuck it. I'm just gonna go send the fucking stalker over because I already did it once. I'm gonna send him over again. And it's just like, oh, it's a good thing the fucking stalker killed himself too afterwards. So then it got rid of the evidence, I would assume. Unless the evidence is still on his computer. They've just decided not to, just not to look over it or whatever, just because he's dead, you know. There's there's not really a need for any more investigation and all that. Both the perpetrator and the victim is dead, so case closed. I don't know, maybe that was the whole thing, and because I would assume if they managed to get into his stuff, they would find where he was making contacts. He was making contact with a person who gave him this information. It could also have been on a burner phone, you know, kind of like how I had like 3 different phones, like one for her family, one for work, and then the other one's for like the super secret work. I don't know. We'll just have to find more information on Ai as we continue, right? It's that feeling of, even though she's dead, she's still around because we're still trying to find out about her life, because she's been such a great liar that, as Aqua said, I've lived with her for a good chunk of my life, but I still don't know anything about her. And then here's this girl, Akane, who's able to just do a little bit of a study and somehow manage to understand who Ai is a whole lot more than Aqua. And also, if Akane's been doing research on Ai, then I would assume she knows that Ai had also been in the La 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 theater. Perhaps, maybe there wasn't any pictures or anything about that, so maybe she wouldn't know, but I would assume she kind of has. Perhaps? No. I'm gonna go back on that until they actually tell me, but I kind of don't want to see it yet. I just want to see B Komachi do her thing, do their things. I would assume the final episode, which is episode 11, would be something like them actually doing the show and all that. But if that's the case, then I guess we still do have time for Aqua to make contact with Akane and try to figure out, you know, Ai's dad and all that. Now that I think about it, Aqua could just tell Akane a lie and just be like, yeah, so I really just want to learn about who Ai's father was, you know? But that would also kind of make it a little bit dangerous, right? A little bit closer for Akane to find out that he's actually Ai's secret child and all that jazz. But that secret is going to come out eventually, and I wonder how that is going to happen, but I would assume it's not going to happen until like much later. But that's pretty much all I've got right now, other than the fact that Kaburagi's got his eyes on Aqua and B Komachi, which is very interesting. He's keeping an eye on Strawberry Productions overall, because that's where Aqua is staying at. So it's interesting that Kaburagi's got his eyes on B Komachi, so we'll have to see what he wants to do if this whole Japan Idol Festival goes over well for B Komachi. So we'll just have to see how that goes. Also, actually, I just realized, wait a minute. Mem said that she got the position for the Japan Idol Fest through a connection at Love Now, right? And Kaburagi is also, it's the fucking top producer guy. And if he's interested in B Komachi, this came after, right? He was talking about this, and then right after, I see, he was talking about how B Komachi's a good investment, and then we've got Aqua here with a bit of a sweat on his face, like, oh shit, no way, like, you're actually interested? Yeah, and then the Japan Idol Fest. Yeah, the producer I work with. Oh, yeah, the producer. Yeah, so it is Kaburagi who fucking gave them this okay. I don't know. I did not read the producer, actually. All I read was just, I work with, has a connection. my reading comprehension is just 0 out of 10 right now. Yeah, so it is Kaburagi who gave them this option. All right, that's interesting. Well, now that I've learned that, if I have anything else to say, I will write it in the description down below. Thank you guys for sticking around, and I will see you guys in the next episode.